Yes, indeed. We're going to finish this evening's show with news of underage GAA and Bordenogue. Portlarig made an announcement earlier on this morning, and an email went out to all clubs that due to the current government restrictions, Bordenogue, Portlarig have suspended their season, the remainder of their season for 2020. It won't be completed in the calendar year. There is hope maybe to resume the various championships that haven't been completed in February 2021. But again, all that will follow the government guidance as regards COVID-19. To tell us more, and delighted to welcome to the programme the PRO of County Bordenogue, that's Padraig Nolan, who joins us on the line. He's also the chairman of Western Bordenogue. So, Padraig, first of all, you might fill us in on that decision which was made by your executive on Wednesday evening, and I think given the situation we're in at the minute, I think everyone will agree that it was the correct call.
Good evening, Gavin. Thank you so much for having me on the show to discuss this important matter. Yes, Bordenogue, Portlarig met on Wednesday evening, an online meeting as is the fashion these days. There was only one major item on the agenda, and that was Championship 2020 and where we stood with it. It was a decision that wasn't taken lightly, but a decision that we believe was more than likely expected and absolutely inevitable, given the recent changes in the government guidelines to move the entire country to level 3. And of course, Lord knows that may change in the forthcoming days. The decision was taken also in line with the fact that we're getting very, very late in the year as well. So even if circumstances do change, Gavin, as we approach Christmas and the end of November, they're not ideal months to be playing football and underage football. And also, a lot of the clubs will, of course, have closed their facilities at this time of the year. So the availability of pitches, not to mention weather and government guidelines of COVID, just all stacked up on the side that we just had no option at the end of the day but to postpone activity for the foreseeable future. Now, the good news is we've made an incredible effort all year to run our championships. We ran our under 13, under 15 and under 14 hurling championships right the way through from July to conclusion, all having county finals, providing a fantastic amenity for all our young hurlers and footballers across the county. Bordenogue remains committed to completing the championships that are left, namely the under 13 and under 15 football championships. However, it must come with a health warning, and that is the only time available for us to play them will be in the month of February. Again, not a great month for playing underage football, dependent on weather and any emerging COVID guidelines that may be in operation at that time. So we're committed to playing them. We will make the fixtures. We have the resources. But it's a long time between now and February. And if we do run out of time, unfortunately, those championships may not actually be paid because we'll be moving into Championship 2021, God willing, on the 1st of March or thereabouts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've nicely summed up there, and I suppose it does sum it up, the unprecedented times we're in, and strange times, and I know we keep using those words, they're like cliches at this stage, but great credit to the board, Padraig, for completing the various hurling championships, and under 13 and under 15 football going well, of course, up to a couple of weeks ago. So the work that went in behind the scenes can't go unnoticed.
Absolutely, Gavin. Those championships, believe it or not, were very unfortunate the way things fell. I think in the majority of cases there was one round-robin game left to be played in both those championships. If things go our way in February, we'll move straight to the knockout quarter-finals, semi-finals and hopefully county finals to short-circuit those championships. Now, going back on the year that we've had, it's been a tumultuous year. It's been a very, very difficult year. We've had to redraw our championships and our structures not once but on two occasions, pre and post COVID. Since we got back in action in July, there has been a massive effort. All the stakeholders in underage Gaelic games in County Portlarig, not just from the Bordenogue officers, but by club secretaries, mentors, parents, COVID officers, and the players themselves. And we'd like to thank each and every one of those people for all their help and support in getting our games played. There was circumstances where last round games in various championships were played on a given day, and only a few short days later, teams were moving into county quarter-finals, a couple of days later, county semi-finals, and then playing county finals the weekend. They were far from ideal, but they were the circumstances that we were faced with to get our championships played. And in fairness to everybody involved in underage G in the county, they were not found wanting when the call came to get these games played and provide Gaelic games for the most important people in the GA as far as I'm concerned, and that's the future of the game, our underage players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head there, because underage, it is so important, Padraig, I suppose, especially maybe at Bordenogue level between 13 and 15, where they're in that competitive environment, and they were starved of it during the lockdown. So to get back in and playing amongst their friends as well, and bringing that onto the field as well in their hurling and football, that's important, I suppose, for guys at that age, isn't it?
Absolutely it is. It's the lifeblood of the organisation, without a doubt. And in what has been a very, very tough year, I think that the effort that was made by everybody in the organisation to get these games played and provide a much-needed outlet for our young players during what has been a tough year in terms of COVID, getting games played, and in general activity. And, of course, the added uncertainty. With every week that passed, even in the latter stages of our championships, there was always a concern that the curtain was going to come down and we would not be able to finish our games. But with everybody's backing, we got as many games as we possibly could played, and that would have not happened without people really putting a massive effort in. So we find ourselves at the tail end of the year, in mid-October, again, a time of the year when we would have well finished up even the latest of our championships with only a few small amount of knockout games of 13 and 15 football to be played. And still, we will look to play those in February. We want to manage people's expectations just in case we'll get the all clear and go back to level 2 in a couple of weeks' time. We don't want people to have an expectation that we're going to go looking for pitches in late November and early December. Pitches, quite frankly, will not be able to take the traffic that will take at other times of the year, and it'll be unfair on the youngsters to put them out on that. God willing, we'll get back in February, we'll get our games played, and if we don't, one championship rolls into another very, very quickly in the world of GAA, and hopefully we'll be back in action with a full range of championships to play from early March onwards.
Yeah, fingers crossed indeed. And to wrap up on it then, Padraig, it is the end of what, can still be viewed as quite a successful season with the amount of games that you got played. I know the end of year meeting will be obviously online this year. That's what we've become accustomed to. But I know being involved as well in the committee as well, like the work that goes in behind the scenes is really second to none, and the effort that all the officers put in at divisional and county level, as we said earlier, shouldn't go unnoticed. So I mean, please God, fingers crossed everyone can stay safe even during this period. It is challenging for everyone, and we look forward to 2021 again, I suppose, with renewed hope and optimism.
Absolutely, we will. I'd like to pay special thanks to my fellow Bordenogue officers who served this year, yourself included, who made a big contribution, as you always do. Particularly, I'd like to mention our fantastic chairman, Mr. Eric Furlong, who puts in untold work behind the scenes in organising our structures and providing critical information for everybody across the organisation. The hardest working secretary in the business, Angela Whelan, who does amazing work. Robert Grace in the East, likewise. Tom Gyrie, who is my treasurer on the Western Board, again puts in huge work. And Eddie O'Shea, the ever young Eddie O'Shea, who is the referees coordinator. One of the toughest jobs, Gavin, in the game.
Big time, yeah.
Never found wanting. But there is huge effort being put in. It'd be remiss of me if I didn't mention it, that Bordenogue is a half a dozen people, and in a normal year we will run the guts of 700 fixtures. That's a massive, mammoth amount of work. And this year, the work, even though we had less fixtures, the work was actually quadrupled. Because instead of having county finals ran on one day where we've got divisions 1, 2, 3 and 4 ran in, let's say, Field or Welsh Park, we had situations this year where 3 or 4 divisional county finals were ran in 3 or 4 different venues. So our finite resources were ever split down or diluted even more. And we would not have been able to do that without the cooperation of the clubs, and that's for sure.
Absolutely, a nice note to end on. I think we'll leave it there. Padraig Nolan, PRO of County Bordenogue, many thanks for taking our call this evening, and to you and the family and all involved in Bordenogue, stay safe, and look, we'll catch up again very soon.
Thank you very much, Gavin, and thank you for the opportunity to come on the radio.